I really need to figure out a soundtrack for this. Hi. Um, yeah, it takes a bit for the stream to pick up that I'm actually sending data, which is fun. But, yeah, hi, we're back. It has, yes, hello, okay, I'm finally getting chat messages, so this is good. I swore that there was, like, a field to this. Give me a second. There's a field to this that's not showing up anymore. And I'm pretty sure. Hi. We're just gonna stick this in the way. Because why not? It's gonna be fun. Yeah, see, there we go. See, it's showing up now. That's good. Sort of. I actually can't tell because I'm hoping that that's set up. You know, as I'm adding stuff live. It's not like you guys are gonna see the little weird lines that I see all over the screen. I'm waiting to see if it pops up on stream because like I can see. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, there's a bit of a latency. That's fine. But yeah, it was warm today. I walked to work in a sweater. That was a bad decision. On the list of like bad choices to make, walking to work in a heavy sweater was really up there. 'Cause you know, body dysphoria. So I'm wearing a baggy, really thick hoodie, but it's stupid hot out. So I'm sweating and dying in this thing, but I can't take it off because I'd rather apparently collapse of heat stroke than do what's healthy for me. Because my brain tells me that anyone seeing any aspect of this is unhealthy for me. Yeah, no, it was hot. It was I thought it was gonna be less hot because it was raining, but no, it was just hot and raining, and that was great. I came in to say something. I had like a thought out, and I was like, this is a good thought. This is a good thing to bring up. But then all of a sudden, I don't know, just distraction, and I'm gone. Right. I got so I'm at work and I'm dealing with systems, and the subject of age came up again at work, about, you know, how old I am, and specifically just like how old everybody in the office is. And apparently to a bunch of people the assumption is I am a lot younger than what I lead on to. Apparently, in quotations, lead on to. Apparently I come across as somebody who's like between 21, 23. And it's beautiful to see the like shocked look on people's face when it's like, oh yeah, no, I had my birthday recently, and they're like, oh yeah, so like how old are you now? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm 28. And the look of like sheer fear that out of all of the IT staff, the only person who I think is older than me is one coworker. I'm older than my boss. I'm older than everybody on staff. And they think that I'm like 2 years or 3 years younger than them. And it's like, oh wow. This is, I don't want to date myself, but like, it kind of makes me realize just like, I'd like to say like a knowledge gap, except the problem is that like we all have the same knowledge, and so they're like, oh, well, then you have more experience. And it's like, I spent a good 20 years of my life not living. I don't have any life experience over anybody here. I'm just somehow 28 years old and just as fucking stupid as I was when I was 18. I'd say, yeah, about 18 actually works. Like, I didn't progress. I learned things, but I sure didn't learn things. It's not like I learned helpful life lessons or anything like that. Most of my childhood, as I've discovered, has become nearly completely blocked off. There are gaps in my memory from when I was a kid. I used to think that it's like, oh, I just must never have, like, seen certain TV shows or seen SpongeBob, or no, I think it's very possible that I did see all of these TV shows and I did see all of these things and encounter all of the stuff. But so much was going wrong that I just blacked it out. Like, it's just been edited from my memory as, like, not important. Yeah. It's like being older is a thing, but I think it only really applies if you've actually, like, lived during that period. Like, it's very strange being in the environment I grew up in. It's just like it really wasn't until, like, grade 9 or 10 that things kind of become consistent. Like, it had to have been halfway through grade 9 that I start having, like, consistent memories of just stuff. Whereas everything else, it's spotty. There are, I don't know what I did for summers ago. And I know that some people would be like, oh, yeah, no, we don't remember that. But the thing is that up until, like, halfway through grade 9, it's all spotty. But as soon as it's grade 9 and onwards, it's consistent. It's like a memory retelling of, like, everything that I went through. And it's just like, I know it's because shit was happening. Is she having fun? I know it's stuff that was happening that I just mentally I likely couldn't deal with at the time, and so I just didn't deal with it via deleting that memory entirely. So yeah, there are huge swaths of my memory that I don't remember. I don't remember seeing things. The only memories I really have are strangely the really bad ones. Like, it's not like I blacked out the memories in my brain that were, like, bad. It's like I blacked out everything that was good. And like, it's like my brain just hyper-fixated on just, and this has actually been a common thing for me pretty much my entire life, I just hyper-fixate on negative. It could be a perfectly good day and one thing goes wrong. Just one thing. And the next thing I know, I'm just focusing on it. Like, it's the sole major highlight of my day, and it's this one small kind of bad thing that my brain makes it into being something so terrible that it will ruin the rest of my day. I will completely forget all of the other good things that happened and just hyperfixate on this one bad thing. And I don't know what part of my brain is doing that, but it really needs to stop. And so it's just... But, like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just like I blacked things out. And, it was kind of around that time that I actually started talking with you, Jacob. Like, I knew you were there, and I knew stuff was going on. I wasn't really a friend at that time. That kind of came later. But it was kind of around that time, and it was shortly after that incident with the tight jeans. If you guys remember that, there was one incident during high school where I had found this pair of jeans in the men's section, and it didn't have like women's sizing on it. Like usually they have like a waistband size or whatever, and it was usually like men's or women's or whatever. It wasn't like that. It was men's jeans, but they were skinny jeans, and I liked these jeans, and I wore them to school. But they were faded jeans. Like specifically, they had wear patterns, and people called them girls' jeans. And it was strangely enough after that event that things start becoming consistent. And I think that's because I started asking freaking questions that I couldn't find answers to. So I started shutting myself down. But you kind of can't shut yourself down fully. And so I think it was during that grade 9 event that it's like when it finally hit me that it's like, whatever I want to be is never going to be good enough. And I didn't have the terms to understand what trans was at this point. I just knew that whatever I liked and whatever I liked doing had been beaten into me into that point by family, by social interactions with extended family, via overhearing things, via just people repeating it, that whatever I liked was bad. It was not something I should like. And so I think it was around grade 9 that maybe it was that period that I really started like doubling down on the whole disassociation aspect. But strangely, you'd think that that would make more gaps, but no, it's like I remember that very clearly, everything that I did to sort of just shut myself down, emotionally speaking. And it nearly worked. We've discussed this before. It nearly completely worked and almost had me killed. But thankfully, someone absolutely annoying at the time, at least compared to what I was like, my perspective at the time was someone completely annoying entered my life and made my life a living hell, to which I got angry and upset and emotional. And all the things I tried to shut down got ripped back out. And they just frustrated me and confused me and confounded me. They were unlike anything I've ever known. But we've discussed that at end point, or at least I've talked about it before. That's how I met my spouse. But the thing is, I don't act my age. I don't remember things that a lot of people my age remember. Like I don't remember ever seeing SpongeBob. I don't ever remember seeing anything from Teletoon, really. I've got like a couple spotty memories. I don't remember seeing anything from Treehouse or anything like that. I only ever really learned about all of these in post, and there are some TV movies and TV shows that I actually went out of my way to rewatch when I was older, because all of my friends kept making references and jokes to, and like one of them, which was strangely weird, was Shrek. I have no childhood recollection of watching that movie. I only remember watching it in like my first year in university. I don't have a child recollection of that, and my sister knows that movie and has claimed to me before that we've watched it, but I don't remember. And so here I am, basically in this weird world where like I was watching old movies that in my brain I was like, these are old movies, or old TV shows. And so like my perception of time is warped. I don't have a good perception of time. Time for me is backwards. Also because, like I've mentioned this before, I only really started watching TV shows during COVID. Like that's where I did the bulk of my catch up for just modern media and just media in general. My time is really skewed. I do remember seeing old Disney movies as a kid, and I remember incidences like Duck Hunt with a NES or Super NES unit. I remember playing Legend of Zelda. I remember playing games as a kid, but I don't have memories of doing anything outside of that. I do know I have horrible memories of being absolutely chased out of the house so that I could not play video games. I remember those moments, but I don't remember what happened after that. So my time of what I've been able to consume, it's not like I can make real reference to it, because it's also like all of these games that I remember playing as a kid. I know I played them, and I know I remember some story elements, but I can't tell you how I felt playing these games. I just know what happens. It's like I watched a walkthrough of the game, and it's like I walked just playthroughs, but I know I was the one with the controller in my hand. I can't tell you what I felt playing those games. I don't recall excitement. I don't recall anything. It was like I was just diving into something to lose myself. And so part of me is going back to some of those games and replaying them. And it's strange to know what comes next in a game that you conceptually know you've played before, but it feels like I haven't played it before. Like, it's not like I've played this game before and I'm coming back to old nostalgia. It's like I'm playing this game for the first time, but I read a walkthrough online, or I watched videos on it, and it feels like it's my turn to play. But I conceptually know that I've played this before. And so this also goes for like some TV shows where it's like I can conceptually understand that I may have seen this before, and that some elements of it kind of like ring true, that it's like, have I seen this before? But it's not enough for me to definitively say like, oh yeah, I saw this when I was a kid. It's like, no, I don't remember seeing any of this. And so my perception of content in the world and just the circles that I'm in is very skewed. I have a very, I guess, new approach to understanding a lot of this. It doesn't feel like I was the one watching. It felt like someone else was watching through my eyes, and I kind of know what was happening. It's like I was third party to the whole experience up until a certain point. And so again, I think that has affected a lot of how I act, because I know that I was born in the 90s, and I know that I lived through the early 2000s, and I know by some people's consideration, as being 28 years old, I'm friggin' old. Other people look at me and going, wow, you're still so young. And it's like, I'm in that weird state where the so young part kind of keeps ringing true in a weird sense, that it's like, I know I shouldn't be getting along with potentially a generation that is like way younger than me, but at the same time, I'm talking with people who are like 19, 20, and relating to them about TV shows and experiences that I don't... Star Wars prequels. That's the fun part. That's the fun part. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch Star Wars. Like, you put that up there. You put that on my screen, but Star Wars, I know the story off by heart. But it's been so long, and it feels like it's from another life, that I'm not really sure if my recollection of Star Wars, of even Star Trek, which is a relatively recent watch of mine. I watched all of Star Trek, both Deep Space Nine and The Next Generation, while I was getting my degree. And I know I've watched those, but it's like my recollection, I can't really trust on that. I know Star Wars has been an absolute huge part of my life growing up, but I kind of want to go back and rewatch them, because it kind of feels like a lot of the content I consumed pre-realization, I was just consuming, because that's what you were expected to do. I wasn't watching. understanding. I wasn't feeling a lot of these movies. And so it's like, yeah, I'm watching things that I would have grown up with and should have grown up with. And I feel disconnected from it. I feel like it happened, but it also feels like I watched a documentary on it happening. And going back and watching them, it almost feels like I'm watching them for the first time. And I don't know if this is just a mental thing. I don't know if this is me because I'm finally living who I'm meant to be. And now I need to kind of go back and re-see all of this. But it puts me in a unique situation where what is Sub Rosa? What is... Okay, I'm confused about that one. I'm going to have to look that up later. It's just a thing of, like... I'm talking with people who are younger than me by, like, a lot. By like, potentially 10 years. Not 10 years, like 9 years, 8 to 9 years. And I can relate to them on seeing things. And it feels like I shouldn't. It feels like conceptually I know that I'm 28 and I know that I should be potentially just considered way older. But everyone looks at me and there goes like, oh, you've got to be like 21, 22. And it's like, oh no. Oh no. I'm a millennial. Okay, yeah, I don't remember really seeing that. It's actually a really weird thing. So I've seen the original series. I've seen The Next Generation. I've seen Deep Space Nine, but then I'm seeing people like quote things from TV series that I've seen and I paid attention to, or I'm so sure that I paid attention to. But it's like I'm at 2 points. Either I don't have memory of it, but other people in my life have memory of seeing it with me, and I just can't recollect any of that, or I can remember seeing it and seeing all of it, but it feels like I wasn't there. It feels more like I watched a documentary and got the SparkNotes version, despite knowing that I put a considerable amount of time to see all of these things. And part of the reason why I don't go back and see some of these things is because I know that it's going to be such a time sink to watch all of these again. But I feel like I'm seeing snippets on Tumblr and on Reddit of like the original series, like GIFs and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't ever remember that scene, or it's The Next Generation and it's a scene with Data. And I've never seen that scene before. That's never happened in the show as far as I'm aware. And so it feels like I'm missing things. And then if I go back and start watching something, it's not like, oh, I've seen this before. It's like, I don't remember any of this the way that, like, it was previously sort of described in my brain. It's like, I know that I've been through this. I know I've gone down this road before. I have memories of being like, okay, well, I'm going to do programming. Okay, so okay, compile, watch an episode, 30 minutes, it'll be done. And it's like, I know I've done that. But at the same time, I don't have... It's like I don't have an active memory of it. And it almost feels like I didn't see any of this at all. And so now I'm coming back and I'm looking at this, and it's just... It's either no memory or like I wasn't... like I read up on it. And it's just a unique situation of I don't... The people I talk with that are my age, they make references to things I don't understand, and the generation younger than me, I can walk toe to toe with a little bit of outdated terminology, but that's never been an issue. And be just fine, but then they find out that I'm like 28 and they're like, okay, how do you know this? Like, we thought you were way younger. And it's like, I don't know anymore. It's been such a weird ride recently because it's come up twice. It came up at the start of my transition where they're like, oh yeah, you're like 21. And it's like, no, at the time I was like, I'm 27. And they're just like, okay, that was a surprise. And it comes up again and they're just like, yeah, like they're just like, people are talking and they're like, oh, so you're like, you had a birthday. Yeah. So like, what are you, 22? And it's like, no, I'm 28. 6 years ahead. And they're just like, you do not look, sound, or act like you are 28. And I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. What does it mean to look, sound, or act a number? What is the expectation? Am I supposed to be more dead inside? Like, lived that, nearly died from that. Don't want to do that anymore. Completely done. And so it's like, I just don't. I'm having a bit of a situation here where it's like, if I don't think about it, I'm fine. But then people bring it up, and it's like, why is after the age of legal consent, like after I would say the age of 20 or 21, and I know that Canada's legal age of consent is like 18, which is fine, but it's like 19 to drink, and I think after a certain point, like, you've got enough out of high school life experience that you can be like considered mature enough to know what you're freaking doing. You're not just throwing yourself at a wall and seeing what happens. But after that age, like, what do numbers matter? Like, I don't understand it, because I've met people who talk and relate to the things that I talk about, and they are either 21 years old, or I've come across people with the same level of knowledge as me, and they're like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and it's like they have the same issue, that they don't remember much about the culture of their, in quotations, what society would consider to be their time. They only really remember things recently, and it's like, are we just the, like, outside group of people that just, like, got left behind by our generations? Like, do we just exist in this weird limbo space of, we came to the realization that we could kind of be who we need to be in the ways that we can, and then all of a sudden that realization happened too late for us, so now we're in this weird situation of relating to just people experiences, not with any sort of time reference. It's a weird perception issue. I'm just gonna, like, it's a weird perception issue where it's like, time for me doesn't make sense. I have memories of, like, snapshots of stuff from my childhood that I've looked up, and they've been like things that my brain told me was like, this was new, and this was, something that happened around when I was a kid, and it was like originally aired in the 1970s, 1980s. And maybe that was just the town I grew up in. Because, like, this is one thing that I remember that made me feel that something was wrong, which made me feel very bad. And that was, we were in history class in school, and we were talking about the Cold War, and the teacher aired or showed what had been aired as a Cold War sort of hide under your desk from nuclear explosion video. And growing up, I know this was before grade 3, so before I'd moved to the island, I had seen this video air live on TV before. It was like Saturday morning cartoons just after it ended, and this thing played, and I was confused. But it was after the time that we were allotted to watch cartoons, And so this thing aired, I got confused, and then I got ushered out of the house. And I remember that. But then seeing it in class when they're talking about, oh, this happened in the 80s. This was Cold War, like, information. And it's like, okay, how friggin' old am I? Because I remember seeing occasionally cartoons of things that people were like, oh, that's really old. And I have memories of that. I have memories of seeing Bugs Bunny cartoons that were super old. That were apparently aired in, like, the 1970s. And I was told, at least as far as I knew, maybe I just consider this, that these episodes were recent. And then I come down to Vancouver Island at the time, and it's an entirely different school system, and there was talks about TV shows and stuff that I remember not knowing, and I remember feeling so out of my own skin in that moment. And those are kind of like the memories that I have. They're not good memories. They're memories of me feeling like I was an outcast and that I'd done something wrong, even though I hadn't. It's like I remembered seeing these episodes, these movies, these informational videos and stuff that were just supposedly way before my time. And maybe it's just the town that I was growing up in at the time. As far as I remember being told, it was like an old mill town that, like, the mill had shut down years ago, and so people were still living there. But there really wasn't much to do. And maybe it was just the station, that's all they had. Yeah, but this was like, it's not that they were like broadcasting it as like pretty timeless stuff. It was like just the stuff that we were seeing. That was the TV cartoons that was like on there, where it was Bugs Bunny, and it was a whole bunch of other ones that just seemed like they were older. Like, I remember them being told as older, and I remember seeing like some Disney movies and stuff like that, and it's just like it feels like I kind of skipped time somewhere, both in that I wasn't really living my life, and also that like the stuff that I was exposed to was just older, at an age of like literally being born to like, I would say from age 3 to grade 3, like that was kind of the information. And then halfway through grade 3 we moved, and then it was this whole world that just seemed so much different, like compared to where I was living. This other world that I got introduced into was just so different, and it honestly feels like I skipped time, and it has felt like that through a large portion of my life, because I think that what happened is, and I'm going to bring this back to that, I was repressing myself to the point that I was repressing memories, to the point that I've forgotten things. And so, yes, I have had, I mean, you joke about alien abduction, and that's fine, but I think literally it's mentally, I repressed myself to the point that I don't remember these things. It's information that I don't think I'm ever gonna get back. It's childhood experiences that just got filed away as not important, or maybe it made me feel some way that I had been told I absolutely cannot feel under any circumstance. And so the best way to not feel something is to not remember what caused that feeling. And I think that is kind of what my brain did, was it just shut those things down. The downside to that is that basically there are parts of my past where I should be able to relate to things amongst peers, but I can't. And so all of my experience is relatively recent. It's like post-degree, which I got in, what was it, 2016? So really, my knowledge of what I can sort of really consume and recall is from, strangely, grade 9 is life events. But when it comes to TV and culture, it doesn't really start until 2012, I guess. and then more so at 2016, which then got, fast ramped with COVID because I had nothing else to do. So I was trying to apply for jobs that were just disappearing because companies were shutting down. And I ended up spending a lot of my time watching TV and catching up on things. And I guess at the time that I was finally watching them, especially the older stuff, they're considered retro cartoons or older music, and it's like I don't remember listening to any of this. I can listen to music that I know I've heard 1,000 times, if not more, but then all of a sudden I don't have any recollection of ever listening to those songs. And so it's like everything is new, and I think at this point I'm fully and honestly just giving up on age as a factor in my life from this point forward. Like, I don't think it's going to matter how old I am. I'm always going to feel that I'm disconnected from those that are of my, in quotations, generation, and I'm always going to end up potentially relating more to a generation that is one lower than myself, because I only started really listening or getting interaction with a lot of this newer content only until recently. So, but honestly, like, age really with me has never really been a thing. Like, there are other little life events, small little things that I remember that I don't think I've ever fit in. It's just strange. I don't think I've ever, like, fully fit in up until now, where it kind of feels like I have a grasp on where I can sort of situate myself now, and it's not with where people would consider to be my peers. It's insanely in an area that it feels like it shouldn't exist, but it does. It's like the place that time forgot, where it's just everything is just there. It's just content and references and things you can learn and discover, and I think that's just where I'm gonna be. And God, it's been messing me up, because like sometimes I forget my own age. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, I forget my own age. I'm talking with people, I'm laughing, we're making jokes, and then my age comes up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you're old. And it's like, okay, hold up. A, 28 is not old. B, yes, I'm older. But also, if I hadn't told you, you would never have guessed. You would have assumed I'm younger than you, because you friggin' did at the start. You were like, okay, wow, a 21-year-old, kind of a little bit off the rails. That's fine. No. Apparently just 28 and insane. So, I give up. Age is just a friggin' number that I'm never going to be able to fully quantify, because my situation was messed up. So, anyway, it's just been a fun week, because I turned 28 and then my age came up and they're just like, oh, how old? And it's like, okay, yeah, 28. And they're like, as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the whole look, like, what? And it's like, look, no, I get that I've been around on this earth for 28 years. I've only been living for about 9 or 10 of those years. Like, let's be real here. I only really been actively around for 9 or 10. Most of my peers have been around for like all 27, 28 years of their life. I don't know. I'm assuming you're 28, but then again, I could be wrong. Also, what does it matter? Just do what you like. It's not like anyone can tell you to stop. Like, unless you're, of course, like actively harming someone. In that case, yes, they can. But like, if you want to go out and buy a Lego set and just build that in your living room, or if you want to like play with dolls, do so. If you want to go out and do mountain biking, or I don't know, anything else. Like, just stop telling yourself you can't and just start doing the things that you like, because at the end point of all of this, it doesn't friggin' matter. We're human. We're gonna do stupid shit. There's no point on putting age restrictions on things, like after the age of like 21 in most places, or I guess 21 in the US. I know legal age is 19 or 18 in Canada. Legal drinking age is 19. I'd honestly just say 21 is a good life experience threshold. You've been out of university for 3 years, or sorry, high school for 3 years, probably into university, or just in working in general, and you've probably had interactions with people that allow you to sort of, I don't know, hopefully figure things out a little bit more. And after that period, like, what is it? Just don't gatekeep things. Like, just let people be people. Like, that's just there's no age restriction. If you want to play with kids' toys, play with kids' toys. If you want to watch kids' cartoons, watch kids' cartoons. I'm going to be honest, She-Ra was pretty amazing. And I do remember watching, I think I watched every episode of My Little Pony. I don't give a crap. Watch what you like. See what you like. I know they're doing a whole remake for My Little Pony coming out potentially soon. It's been, here's one that's going to date some people. It's been like almost a decade since the first episode came out. There's one for you. It's been either a decade or very close to a decade since the first episode of My Little Pony aired. So if they want to go and redo the series 10 years later, I say why not? Because there is an entire group of kids that if they were 10 years old when they were watching that, they're now 20. They are now 20 years old. And that remake is technically for them. Because when we were kids, even though I didn't get to see it, I know that there were TV shows that were airing around the 90s, early 2000s. I mean, really early 2000s. That were meant for, you know, us as kids. But it's been 10 years since anything that you saw post-graduation, or anything close to that. It's been 10 years. There are 10 years of kids that may have seen or seen reruns. And it's about time for a remake. And honestly, I'm kind of excited for it because, like, I finally get to see just I don't know, it's like watching, in a lot of ways, watching My Little Pony helped me come out, because it let me kind of start shedding these restrictions that like for the longest time I had placed on myself. Like, I had shackled myself to the idea that I had to act a certain way, had to be a certain way. And My Little Pony was a TV show that was pushed on me and was like, just watch the first episode. Just watch the first episode and see what you like. And so I watched the first episode, and I was like, is there a second? Like, I know my brain, and I know me, and if I'm honestly giving something a chance, one episode is not enough. I have to see the second to determine if this is something I'm getting into, or even the third. And so I saw the second, and I saw the third, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna admit, and in my back of my head, I was like, I shouldn't be, but I'm into this. And the I shouldn't be was other people in my life that had previously been in my life latching these ideas onto me that you're not supposed to be a certain way. Men are supposed to be manly, women are supposed to be womanly. And that was the weird misogynistic bullshit that was ingrained into me since I was a kid. And My Little Pony was the first time that I got to finally strip something off of that and be like, you know what, you can do what you like. And that sort of created a start to a whole host of new things. I can do what I like. I can play what I like. That is when I started officially playing girls in video games. And I never understood this. I played, what was it, Star Wars: The Old Republic? And this was another really defining moment for me, was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, presenting entirely as a woman online, and then having a guilt complex that forced me to stop. Because I felt so bad about, in quotations, tricking these people into thinking I was someone that I wasn't. And that wasn't me tricking anyone. That was me honestly playing those moments and being who I was supposed to be, who I was always supposed to be. But baggage and other people's bullshit was so ingrained into me that the moment that any thought like that happened, I retreated from it, because that's what I had been told I had to do, that I had to push that down. And that was a second really big defining moment for me, because I did that and I left, and I remember getting told, why does it matter if it's what makes you feel happy? And I remember getting told that why did me, hair elastic hell, why did me presenting that way matter when I clearly had done it because it was how I felt? And that's what later allowed me to come back to other video games and just start playing as a female character, as a woman. And because even though after I'd done that and I'd burnt that bridge just impulsively, because I had been told that's what I was supposed to do, that I was never supposed to feel that way, that finally in that moment, the realization was that I didn't have to tell myself I was wrong, because what I did wasn't wrong, because I wasn't harming anybody. All I was doing was presenting as the way I felt, with no intent of gaining anything other than my own happiness, and with no intent of harming anyone at all. Like, there was no intent in me playing or presenting online as a woman, because it was just simply what made me happy. And there was no other point. It wasn't to fool people, it wasn't to trick people, it wasn't anything like that. It was just me finding happiness in this one thing that made me feel whole. And it made me feel like, I guess things were finally clicking into place. And so I continued playing a woman in single player games, and I did a lot of that, and I did a lot of experimentation with that. And that helped me, finally to decide, I'm just gonna, it's not intending to harm anyone. There's no intention to harm. It is just my enjoyment and my happiness personally. I went and I picked up a game that I kind of liked and jumped into the RP community and began presenting that way for my own purposes. And it was around that time that COVID hit, and I had time to just explore things and, watch TV and watch movies and TV series and YouTube, that I got pushed a video that talked about trans people. And so I looked more into that, and that's when my realization hit. that there was a reason why all this was making sense. That I felt happier being who I was in game than when I was out of it. Like, if I could pull the person that I was in game out of the game and be that person for the rest of my life, would I hate it or would I embrace it? And the answer immediately was embrace. All of the problems, all of the issues that would be, didn't matter. That was what I wanted to be. And answering that question made me flip out and throw my phone into the couch, because that was my final realization that I was trans. I was a woman. Brain went girl, body went guy, and you can't change the brain to go guy because that's what we call brainwashing. So you change the body to go girl. And I began looking into this, and I panicked, and it was just a moment of discovery and self-identity that all started literally back with a TV series aired for kids ages like, I don't know, 5 to 12 in 2012. And so if they're going to remake the My Little Pony series, if they're going to remake kids' cartoons, I want to see what they do. Because for me, it's been a long road breaking down the walls that prevented me from living my life as a normal human being. Instead of being forced to play an act that I wasn't, and being completely oblivious to the fact that there was another option that was better for me. To basically be forced to lie to people that I was something I wasn't, and being told that that was okay. But being told that me living my truth, who I was, being who I've always felt I should be, was wrong. That, to me, took a lot of time for me to break that down and finally realize the sort of the hypocrisy of that statement, that they call me, the people that I'm going to say put this into my head, they call people like me delusional or liars, saying that we're faking what we're feeling and what we're doing because we're evil in some sense. But then what they're actually doing is forcing us to be something we're not. Forcing us to play an act that we're not. And telling us that that is an okay lie to tell. And telling them the truth is apparently a lie to them, and telling them the lie that they want to hear is the truth to them. And having the understanding to know the sort of the level of hypocrisy of that statement is what takes an unfair amount of time out of a person's life to come to that realization. And it sucked. Because 2012 to 2020, it took 8 years to fully break everything down, to finally hit this realization and make the moves that I needed to have made, or needed to have had the context to make. Back when I was 6 years old, which is the earliest memory that I have of anything close to this, was me begging not to get my hair cut. And it happening anyways. Because they told me that's what boys got, was short haircuts. And I flat out said I did not want to be a boy. And I got screamed at. I got yelled at. I got taken aside. And as a 6-year-old threatened with hell on earth to never say that again. And over the course of the years, I heard things, and these are the memories that I have. I have memories of people telling me that it's wrong to think the way that I was thinking or feel the way that I was feeling, that people like that are bad people. I've heard the whole thing about having queer people lined up and shot so that, in quotations, normal people can get on with their lives. And it's dark. Those are the memories that I have. And so it took a lot of time to break that out. And now that I'm here, it's like I finally get to live my life. But it's like also I feel like I'm so behind because I have not explored like everyone else was doing when they were in college or not college, high school or grade school. It's like I'd shut all that off and I just kind of went on autopilot for a bit. And that bit was a while. But anyway, that was my world at the time, at the very least. So seeing remakes of old TV shows, it kind of feels like, in a certain sense, that I'm like living a childhood I never got. And not in the sense that it's like I'm going back in time to have experiences that I wanted. It's more like I'm going through the motions of self-development that I feel like most of my friends, most of my colleagues have already gone through. And I think that's what dates me as being so young, is just because while I do have, I guess, a certain level of life experience, I don't have the growth experience to match that. Conceptually, I know how bad things can go wrong, but I don't think as a human being I've personally had my personality grow up until recently. I think I've finally shaken off enough of the chains and restraints that were placed on my life to actually move forward. And I know that there are going to be hang-ups, and I'm going to make mistakes. I've made mistakes. But it feels like I can actually move forward. I can actually make progress. I can actually figure out the things that I like. I've mentioned this before. I've just started discovering things that I thought I hated that it turns out I like. I found out things that I like that, I found out things that I used to hate I actually like. And I found out that there's things that I used to like that I now hate. I drink coffee at work, and only a very tiny amount of it. And then water it the heck down because I need the caffeine. But I hate the taste of coffee. I actually can't even drink Earl Grey tea black. I can't drink Earl Grey tea without honey or milk in it. I can't. It's too bitter. I hate bitter. I hate bitter so much. I used to be able to just eat dark chocolate. But I can't stand the bitter anymore. Just the thought of eating dark chocolate, it's something I hate now. It just makes me go like, no, let's not. And it's just, I used to hate excessively sweet. Like I used to hate excessively sweet things. To the point that like I'd eat them because other people were eating them, but like if something was like excessively sweet, it was just like sugar. It was just like it was too rich for me. I didn't like it. It was like I was forcing myself. And now it's just like, you know what? If it's like excessively sweet, like I can eat a whole tub of ice cream now on my own. I wouldn't get like sick from it. I know I could just eat it. And I've never been able to do that before. And it's like, I don't know, tastes and everything's are changing, but it's also, I don't think that it is physical changes. I think it's mental changes that like I told myself I shouldn't like these things because of X or Y reason. And now that I don't have those restrictions anymore, and it's like I'm actually asking myself, like if I look at something and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Why don't I like that? And if I can't find a good reason, I try it again. And it turns out, no, I actually like that. So why did I tell myself I didn't like it? Well, I don't have the information on that. So all I know is I now like this thing, and that's okay. I used to love the color green. Like, really love the color green. Favorite color in the entire world. Just loved green things. Do you want to know why? Okay. Yes, dairy. But if we're talking, I see what you did there. If we're talking about vegan ice cream, yes, I could eat the entire thing. Before I couldn't. Before it was like I had like a bowl, and that kind of made me feel a little sick. Just because it was sweet. Too sweet. And you distracted me. Damn you. What was I going on? Things that I like. Yeah, it's like, you know, why do I like certain things? And, or why did I say I didn't? And it's like, I don't know. But the color green, that's what we were on. We were on the color green. Used to love it. Love the color. If it was like a moss green, favorite color in the entire world. And I recently discovered there's a reason why I chose the color green as the color I liked. The truth is, the color I've always been the most attracted to has been like a lavender purple. It has been, technically it's a lilac purple, but whenever you talk about lilac purple, they give you this weird like light pink color. But the lilacs that I had growing outside of my house growing up, they had this kind of like this deep lilac purple to them, or so this deep lavender purple to them, but they were lilac flowers. I like that shade of purple. That I've always loved that shade of purple. But I told myself I liked green because in my head, it got in there that if I told people I liked purple, they wouldn't think I was guy enough. And if I wasn't guy enough, I would get in shit. And so I told myself that it was green because green was, in quotations, a guy's color. This is stupid things, but this is the logic that a child makes up when they are threatened with their life. So I told myself it was green. And for the longest time, it was green. I told myself I liked green, told myself I liked green everything. And I can tell you unequivocally now, green is just a meh color for me. And I kind of really like purple now. And I just don't know why. That said, green can be a really nice shade, and I do not mind like wearing it. But when it comes down to favorite colors, it is now purple. Now, that is not to say that there is a certain degree of comfort in green, and I know that probably comes from my childhood. I do have a dysphoria sweater that is a nice shade of green, and I will wear that. And even if I got a purple sweater that was in the same color, I think I'd still wear the green one, because when I'm feeling bad about myself, when I'm feeling dysphoric, wearing green kind of lets me know that like it's okay. The things will be all right. It's kind of like a reminder of, I guess, hardships past, and it's a strange thing to attribute that to a color. But having that color around kind of reminds me that, like, I've put much worse behind me, and I will get through this. And that is a comforting feeling to sort of just literally physically wear. But when it comes to favorite colors, the color that I guess is going to kind of like focus on my life of making new things and discovering new things, it's purple. And it's kind of a color that I kind of want to focus myself more on because I love that color a lot. And I figure, you know, now that I'm out, it's now a good time to just move forward. And so that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, I've talked for over an hour on trauma, colors, and a whole bunch of other crap. Memory loss. That's a fun one. I kind of want to play. I've been itching to play Cyberpunk. Like I know I don't get around to it enough, but it's like I kind of want to like play it. And I've been debating doing more streams because streams and chances to play, but I like the idea of setting up a scheduled stream, because if I can schedule something, or for my time it's like starts at 7:30 every day, I can excuse me, that pop is getting to me. If I can schedule something, it adds a bit of structure to my week. I just realized I didn't catch your last sentence there, Jacob. But yeah, that's yep. How you know something's wrong? Anyway, I want to play more of Cyberpunk. I've been. Give me a sec. We're gonna switch gears here. If it loads, I click the button. What's going on? Why are you taking 8 years to sync? What are you trying to sync? Soda drunk. Yeah, you wish. No. Yeah, I know legally ice cream has to have a certain percentage. Oh yeah, there goes my streaming software. It has to be on this one. Is there a way to get you to monitor too? Can we? Okay, give this a sec. We need gameplay with face cam. Okay, you're picking it up. That's good. Uh-huh. Seizure warning. Can we... choose what monitor this goes on? Yes, we can. Don't know why that happened. That was weird. Like why it stuck that on the wrong screen. Anywho. Okay. As always, we're gonna check sound to make sure that copyrighted music is turned on. We're gonna load. Oh, geez, no, don't go. No, yawning.
Hey, everyone. Feels great to have you back. So then, did you all hear about
I will not yawn. I will not close the stream too early. I have wanted to play this for a while. I have been sleeping far too much recently. So, we are going to
harpoon it for scientific research.
play this for a while.
But honestly, it's quite the power move. Wonder what Militech will respond with.
Okay. Right, I'm meeting Dex. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Dex is okay. Dex is in the people. Dex is in the car. Awesome.
Yo, Miss V. A pleasure.
Dexter Deshawn in the flesh. Ample indeed.
Let's roll. Mind if I ask you something right off the bangle? Would you rather live in peace as Miss Nobody, die ripe, old, and smelling slightly of urine, or go down for all times in a blaze of glory, smelling near like posies, without seeing your 30th?
Oh wow. I remember these all accounts. Some sort of test. Shit, asshole.
There's some sort of test.
Just a pet topic of mine.
I mean, riddles?
No, Miss V. Ontology. Alright, listen close. Scanning a serious job now. Playing gargantuan.
I need to stop yawning.
Hang on, got a question of my own now. Why all this, Dex? Why me? Could've had Jackie or T-Bug sitting here. Could've just done this on comms.
Call me old-fashioned, but I like to look anyone I do biz with in the eye. Had the pleasure of meeting the Jackster in the past, and Sweet T-Bug helped this brother out 2 years ago. So here we are. Besides all that, got a special little pre-mission just for you. But we'll get to that.
Let me hear it. What's the job?
There's this prototype tech. A biochip to be precise. Job's to grab it. Simple.
Guessing it belongs to a corp?
Mm-hmm. Arasaka. Surely that's no problem.
Boop.
Corps don't deserve special treatment.
Shit, you ain't playing around. Got a feeling this could be a start of a beautiful friendship built on heaps of eddies.
You work this out? Got a plan?
Two things. First, a conundrum with the Maelstrom boys. Needs active resolving that. Second, a rendezvous. Simple. Client who brought us the job's anxious. She wants to parlay with one of the team.
Okay, wait, hold up. What?
Fine. What's her thing? Why does she need to meet?
Woman's name's Evelyn Parker. Betting her wasn't easy. Put the word out I was looking for any kind of intel.
Right,
I
and?
need to stop yawning.
Some brothers from Pacifica got back to me. Told me to stop looking. End the convo. Anyway, our little client insisted on meeting someone with skin in the game. You know, who'll be there for it all. Yours truly will be remote. T-Bug ain't no people person, and Jaggy's only good at some things. I know you know what I mean. Pretty much leaves you.
What's the issue needs resolving with Maelstrom? Got a beef?
Slotting the shard. Got a classic tale for you. Psycho Gang doing his thing 2 weeks back. Jumped a Militech convoy. Got away with the gear. Corp don't even know Maelstrom's involved. Now see, convoy was carrying the Flathead, a little combat bot, a prototype. Then I need me that bit of high-grade military tech. Because if we don't get that bot, we don't get no soccer chip. And we sure as hell don't get no happily ever after. But don't get excited. It's a single-use toy. Now, I flat out purchased the damn thing from Maelstrom. Problem is, I did so from a gent went by the name of Brick. I say when, because Brick was the leader. 3 days after we'd sealed our deal, his friend and gangmate, one Simon Randall, aka Royce, plain dropped his ass. Royce is in charge now, and I got no way of knowing if he aims to honor his predecessor's word. To add to this shitstorm, one Meredith Stout of Militech has developed an interest in said convoy.
Okay, who's Royce?
Royce guy. What's he like?
A straight psychopath, chrome-loving kind.
Big club in this town.
I'll give you that. Except few of its
I
elements.
need to stop
No matter
yawning.
the
Oh my
stakes,
god.
would put a friend and associate through an industrial microwave dryer. Apparently, first thing to burst are the eyeballs. Get a nice clear pop. then the rest goes goulash.
Who's the prima donna?
Corpo agent, internal affairs. Been skidding around town asking after the convoy as if her life depended on finding it. The one lead she's got zip-tied in her trunk. Stick up her ass ain't growing any shorter, so she must be getting desperate. Be wise to think how you could use that. Of course, to do so, you'll need that frazzled cat's info. Sending it now.
I wasn't really paying attention because someone
I
is
got
busy on the
everything.
side trying to,
Time
you
I
know.
got to work.
That's just music to my ears. I'll set up the meet with Miss Parker at Lizzie's bar. Flathead, though's gonna be all you. One more thing, Miss V. Quiet life or blaze of glory? Later now.
Do you see the weapon? Do you remember the weapon that we put in our car?
Jackster, talk to Dex.
Gordito's a big deal. Literally and not, yeah?
No, I swapped. Okay.
Claimed to want to check our pro cred. But to me, it feels more like he tangled us up with Maelstrom and Militech. There's this combat bot military prototype. Maelstrom clept it, then Dex paid to take it off their hands just before the Gangoons had a switch up in management.
Right. Heard about that. Royce versus Brick. Hostile takeover.
About sums it up. Dex wants us talking to Royce. Gave the deeds of some Militech agent too, but don't know how much help she stands to be.
Chingon.
Yeah, you don't sound thrilled. Royce, what do you know about him?
He's fucking whack something special. Junkies snort junk. Royce snorts chrome.
Then there's the other thing. Gotta meet the client who put the job on the table, Evelyn Parker.
You? Well, what's Dex gonna do? Ride around in his limo, chat chicks up on the hollow?
Probably.
Parker wants to meet someone on the crew. Dex gave me the nod.
He must know what he's doing.
Oh.
So, how you want to play this? Maelstrom or Parker? What's first?
Well, what's the most idiot thing we could do? Let's get the talking out of the way.
Think I ought to see her first. See
Pretty
what
sure
she's
that's
like,
talking.
What she's after.
Orale. In that case, I'll hit the all foods. Put my nose to the ground.
I am. Why am I crashing? I have no reason to be crashing this early. It's like 9 o'clock. I refuse to be an 8 o'clock gay. I refuse to be asleep at 8. I saw you. Okay. Don't I have like multiple missions? Yeah. Oh, side jobs. The gig. Okay, oh, there's no point in doing that one. Right. Very high. Oh, let's not do that one. Psycho Killer. Could you stop? Psycho Killer. Okay, also very high. Paid in full. I need to pay him money. I am broke. What is this gift that we're talking about? I like doing side quests. Oh, it's right click. Okay. So, oh, forward. Okay. Awesome. Don't worry, I won't have 10,000. And we're gonna do this. Ooh. Right, we were doing pistol, shotgun, and punching people in the face. Gonna punch more people. This was the shotguns one, so we'll grab that. Then we have reflexes purely for handguns and nothing else as a faster alternative. We have technical. I mean, part of this is just like tech weapon charging, but I know that there's a shotgun that's pretty decent. So we could probably go up both the crafting and the engineering line. And then when it comes to intelligence, I think I only got this to like try and round out. I think this is what we were looking for. And a couple other things. I only want to go full hack with this. Oh, but I need to upgrade one. We're gonna hit body. So we're gonna punch people and take names. What's the point of being stealthy when we could just take people out? Putting on the moves. Whoop.
T-Bug sent me. Said you'd have something for me.
You're V, right? She had me hold the demon for you. It should work on any 3rd gen deck.
Got a Militech Paraline. Think it'll do.
Solid gear. For a beginner.
Okay. Glad to grab a demon always.
You could test it now. I have an access point. If you'd like, that is. You might extract some shimsoft or subroutines. Seems worth a try, either way.
And then I don't have enough money for any of the other stuff of this. So we're poor.
How's this work? Any punk off the street?
thought I missed
can
that opportunity.
Waltz in here, grab some shady running soft.
No,
Looking at chat.
not just any punk.
Okay.
Over the counter, we fix cyber decks. But if you come recommended and you know what you are looking for, I'm sure you will find it.
Got anything Nova for sale?
If you can afford it, yes.
I don't know why. I already said I couldn't afford this. I'm just being dumb. Ooh, can I? Do I need to insert that? I do need to insert that. Oh, these are convert. Guess what? Run through the. Okay, there's this here. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh no. Okay, well that means we have to lose one for this. So 1C. Seems to be the most efficient. Because that's not gonna get me anywhere. And then that might. There we go. It's just pattern matching. Whoa. I don't know how well this is coming through. Oh, excellent connection. Fantastic. Let's continue. Hello. Oh, why am I carrying out my weapon? That's it. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay. I'm following the yellow line. Okay, officially not running 425 meters. Well, some weird stuff's happening here. Right, thanks. Just gonna back up and gonna take this. Okie dokes. I don't know how to use signals, so I'm just going through. Okay, there's a turn up here. Is there a turn up here, or is it just making me turn? Well, it wants me to go in here. We'll park. Is there like a parking brake? There we go. Well, okay, accident-free ride. Oh, what? Frag me. Can we just like... What? No. How do we wait time? Is there not an option to just wait time? Can I not wait time? Am I doomed? Did I miss something? Tab. Jump to V. Oh, they changed this. Whoa, they changed a lot of this. Okay. That's all cool. Skip time. Okay. Yes. Wow, this is different too. We're at 4. We're gonna do 6. And we're going to leave. My brain is telling me that these are both the same vehicle. Oh. Okay.
Hey there, dollface. Interest you in a preem BD?
I'm going to save, and this is only because all of a sudden my stomach is very angry with me, and I'm going to be needing to go. I am so sorry. I don't know why this happened. Oh, that is unpretty. Okay, I am so sorry. I'm gonna need to go and cut this short. thank you all for listening to my rant. I think the next time that I keep saying this, but like the next time that like I do this, I'm just gonna go straight into gaming. Just because I really want to make progress, and it's just like I could take up so much time talking. Anyway, I gotta go. Catch you guys later.